401 St. Innocent I begins his reign as Catholic Pope. In 1135 Norman nobles recognized Stephen of Blois as King of England. In 1216 Pope Honorius III delegates decree Religiosam vitam, eligentibus. In 1465 Peace of St Truiden, Louis of Bourbon is restored as Prince-Bishop of Liège after a period of exile. In 1536 English scholar Reginald Pole appointed cardinal. In 1590 army of Moroccan Pasha Ahmad al-Mansur begins its epic 135-day crossing of the Saharan desert on his way to defeat the Songhai Empire. In 1596 Ferryboat Meuniers crashes in Paris, 150 die. In 1642 Pope Urbanus VIII publishes decree in eminente. In 1666 the French Academy of Sciences, founded by Louis XIV with Jean-Baptiste Colbert, first meets in the King's Library. Danby occupies York. 1688 Earl of Danby occupies York for King William III, Prince of Orange. In 1689 heavy earthquake strikes Innsbruck, Austria. In 1715 English pretender to the throne James III lands at Peterhead. In 1731 Dutch people revolt against a government tax on meat. In 1744 Holy Roman Empress Maria Theresa expands her expulsion of Jews from Prague to include Bohemia and Moravia. In 1772 Moravian missionary constructs first schoolhouse west of Allegheny. In 1775 Continental Navy is organized with 7 ships. Esek Hopkins is appointed the first commander. In 1790 supposedly impenetrable Turkish fortress of Izmail is stormed and captured by Suvorov and his Russian armies during the Russo-Turkish War. 1787-92 Embargo Act. 1807 U.S. Congress passes the Embargo Act and President Thomas Jefferson signs it into law, prohibiting American ships from trading in foreign ports as a result of involvement in hostilities between France and Britain. Beethoven Symphonies No. 5 and No. 6 1808 Beethoven Symphonies No. 5 and No. 6 Choral Fantasy and Piano Concerto No. 4 featuring the composer, a soloist premiere at the theatre in Der Wien in Vienna, Austria. In 1810 British frigate HMS Minotaur sinks killing 480. In 1814 Samuel Maston of the Church Missionary Society arrives in the Bay of Islands, New Zealand to establish the country's first mission station. Sheep, cattle, horses, and poultry are introduced. Dostoevsky survives firing squad. 1849 The execution of Russian writer Fyodor Dostoevsky by firing squad is called off at the last moment. In 1851 the first freight train is operated in Rocky, India. 1860 Jan II raid on Morgan S. Bardstown to Elizabethtown, Kai. In 1870 Jules Janssen flies in a balloon in order to study a solar eclipse. 1877 American Bicycling Journal begins publishing Boston, Mass. First Christmas lights. 1882 First string of Christmas tree lights created by Thomas Edison. In 1883 August Strindberg Lycopers Regiapremières. Annunciation of an Extraordinary Holy Year. 1885 Pope Leo XIII publishes encyclical Quod Optorate, the Annunciation of an Extraordinary Holy Year celebrating 50 years since Pope's ordination. Iterabumi First ppm. 1885 Samurai Iterabumi becomes the first Prime Minister of Japan. 1886 First National Accountant Society in US formed NYC. In 1890 Cornwallis Valley Railway begins operation between Kingsport and Kentville, Nova Scotia. 1894-23 Dutch coast hit by hurricane. In 1894 Amateur Golf Association of the United States is formed in New York City, renamed soon afterwards to the United States Golf Association. Pierre Louis l'après-midi d'Enfant. 1894 Claude Debussy's first orchestral masterpiece Pierre Louis l'après-midi d'Enfant prelude to the afternoon of a foreign premieres in Paris. Dreyfus court-martialed. 1894 French officer Alfred Dreyfus court-martialed for treason triggers worldwide charges of anti-Semitism. Dreyfus later vindicated. In 1905 arrest of St. Petersburg Soviet members leads to an uprising of Moscow workers and fighting in the street. In 1907, Saint Tsar NS Fokine S. Balaler Signy Premiers in St. Petersburg. In 1910, U.S. postal savings stamps first issued. In 1915, organized baseball and Federal League sign a peace treaty at Cincinnati. Federal Baseball League dissolves. In 1917, Flanders declares its independence under pirate attack. In 1917, in the NHL's first official week of play, 3 players score hat-tricks in the same game for the same team. Corb Denny, Reg Noble, Harry making each score 3 for the Toronto Arenas in an 11-4 win over the Ottawa Senators. In 1922, Belgian Parliament rejects Dutch University in Ghent. Highest Australian Partnership 1923, Bill Ponsford and Edgar Mayne make record 456 opening stand for Victoria against Queensland. Highest first wicket partnership by an Australian pair. In 1924, Babe Dyer of NHL's Toronto St Patrick's scores 5 goals, beat Bruins 10-2. In 1924, Philip Barry's played the youngest premiers in NYC. In 1930, Convention of Economic Rapprochement Oslo Agreement signed between some European countries in response to the Great Depression. Diego Rivera Retrospective 1931 retrospective show of Mexican artist Diego Rivera opens at the Museum of Modern Art in New York. The Mummy 1932 The Mummy, directed by Carl Freund and starring Boris Karloff, is released in the US as the first mummy horror film. 1934 First flight from Netherlands to Curaçao Christmas flight 1934. In 1934 Miss Theo Trowbridge sets female bowling record 702 pins in games. In 1935 Yiko Iwasaki, student of D.S. Harada Roshi, first awakening in Kamakura. 1936 First common carrier license issued by ICC, Scranton, PAR. In 1937 Lincoln Tunnel, under the Hudson River, opens to traffic, connecting Weehawken, New Jersey to Midtown Manhattan, New York City. In 1939 Finnish counter-offensive at Petsamo. In 1939 freight train and passenger train head-on collision kills 101 at Markdorf, Germany. In 1939 Genthin, Germany real disaster 186 die in train wreck as an express has a rear-end collision with a train stopped at the station. In